Rocking my pedal board. Rocking my pedal board, y'all. Rocking my pedal board. My new rock pedal board, y'all. Rocking my pedal board. Rocking my pedal board, y'all. My new rock pedal board. Build a new rock pedal board. Yeah! Hi there, I'm Budda and you're watching Dr. Guitar, a show for all you guitarists out there. In today's episode, I'm building myself a rock pedal board. This is part of a series of episodes I'm creating, which I call Pedalboard Essentials, and it's kind of a guide for you on how to build pedal boards. And I've done my first one. If I was building my first pedal board today, this is the second chapter of that series, and it's me building a rock pedal board today, of course. This is not meant to be like the ultimate, the only pedal board I would build, because probably if I build it tomorrow or next week, I would build it differently. And if you're seeing this in the future, I'm probably have changed my mind a million times. But this is like a guideline on how to create, how to build yourself a good rock pedal board. When I say rock, I mean classic rock to grunge and maybe some stoner rock. I'm not a metal guy. I'm not modern rock guy. So I'm going for from Rage Against the Machine to AC/DC, Led Zeppelin. Well, Led Zeppelin I would include in my blues rock pedal board more than the rock pedal board, but it could go a little rock. Then the Black Keys, Jack White, it's probably that realm. Rolling Stones, of course, Black Crowes, that kind of rock that I think of when playing. First of all, let me thank my dear patrons for supporting the show, and if you want to become a patron yourself, it's super simple. You just need to go to the link and follow the steps. Super easy. You can also help the channel by contributing to the tip jar on PayPal. And if you're interested in guitar lessons with me, just send me an email or a direct message via Instagram or Facebook, and we'll deal with it from there. Also, please visit my reverb.com store. It's all in the link, because I have a lot of gear that I review here in the show and that I can't afford to keep. So I'm selling some of the stuff, and it's also a help for the channel. Let's go and build ourselves a rock pedal board. A rock pedal board starts with a guitar, and for a rock scenario, I really love my Les Paul Special. I love the P90 for rock and roll. I would also be really good with a Tele. It's my rock and roll go-to guitar. Or a Firebird. It's also great. I picked up this Les Paul Special because I've been playing it I haven't played it a lot, and I love it. It's one of my really dear guitars. It's a new one, not fancy at all, but it's really, really great. And the volume pots work really good. So you can go kind of a single coil and kind of humbucker. And I'm not super humbucker guy, although I've been learning to play with humbuckers for a while, and I'm enjoying it. But this is the guitar I picked up, and we need an amp. I could go with an amp that had overdrive, and I use the overdrive from the amp. But not all of you have that kind of option. So I thought on going with a cool, clean amp, loud, good headroom, and I picked up my Mesa Boogie here, my Mesa Boogie Royal Atlantic 100, which is a 100 watts. I'm using just a clean channel. The overdrive and this amp is just unbelievable. Whenever I think of rock, whenever I record rock here in the studio, every rock band that records here uses the Royal Atlantic. It's just a beast of an amp. And it can go to metal, it can go to stoner, it's killer. I thought about selling it. I'm really glad I didn't sell it. And it's 4x12, so it's kind of a big sound. So when I think about rock, I think about gain, overdrive, distortion. And that's exactly what I did here in this pedal board. I picked up some of the pedals. I would have a lot of options for it, and I will link in the description. I will link some affiliate links, so if you buy the pedals from there, you will be helping me because Amazon is giving me a small commission. The price is the same to you. So the first pedal in line is my trusty Boss OC2. Unfortunately, it's not available anymore, at least new. You can only buy it used, and it has a magic thing to it. But I think the OC3 nails it really good, and I think Boss released a new option of the octave pedal, probably the OC8 or something like that. But why have I picked up the OC2? Because it's really cool for riffing. The intro song you heard, it's me playing with the OC2. The telly is going through the DS Custom Audio Electronics, which is an octave fuzz, but I still have a lower octave, which is really crazy. And the second one, the Les Paul, is going to the Rattler, Jam Pedals Rattler, which is a Rat version of Jam Pedals, and the OC2 also going there. So it's really cool. It basically doubles your octave. So this is guitar and amp. So I have the octave, which just gives me a lower octave, and then I have my drives. And why do I have 4 overdrive or 4 drives or distortion pedals? Because I like to have different kind of drives for different parts. And I don't really like to stack pedals, although I sometimes do it. But I like to have like increments of gain. And I like to start from the heavier distorted towards the less distorted. So the first pedal is really cool, the DS Audio Electronics XPC, which is it's based on the Prescription Electronics Experience pedal. It's a fuzz and an octave fuzz that you can add the octave to the pedal. Experience because it's probably inspired by Jimi Hendrix, but let's hear the fuzz. You can turn it on and hear the fuzz. has a tone control, which enables me to cut off the highs or boost the highs. So let's hear it. And let's hear the fuzz range. It's already very distorted. And it has kind of this very aggressive, it reminds me more of a color sound, like a tone bender fuzz, less than a fuzz face. But let's hear how it reacts with the octave. Now I'm sure you get why I put the octave pedal here. It's really a cool rock sound. For riffs, I just love it. And I picked up the OC2, but good options for it is the TC Electronics Sub and Up. There's a link in the description for that pedal. And the classic of classics, Electro Harmonics Pogs. So you have the Mini Pog, the Micro Pog, the Pog. It's polyphonic octave generator, so it creates a lower octave, but the TC Electronics and the Pog have the advantage of being able to add a higher octave, which makes you be able to play like low and high octaves. Rival Sons is one of my favorite bands at the moment, and they use a lot of Pog and fuzz, so it's a really cool combination. And of course Jack White uses it a lot too on all of his projects. So this fuzz on itself, it's already really cool, and I really love to have a fuzz so I can be dirty but really crappy, almost as if the amp is dying. It's different from having a distortion. You'll see it in a moment. That's why I have the Rattler here. But this also has an octave ability, so I can turn on an octave, a higher octave, and make it be an octave fuzz. With the octave. And I think it immediately makes the fuzz sound better. Don't really know why, but it reacts better to the volume, while with just the fuzz, it's not as reactive to the volume. And I love, it's probably my favorite effect of all time is octave fuzz, because it has so many nuances. It can be like a synth. It can sound like a synth guitar, like. And this together with the octave pedal, the OC2, it's also really cool. it immediately reminds me of John Lord's Deep Purple's keyboard player, Hammond sound, because it has all the octaves, but it has drive and fuzz, and he played a lot of Deep Purple's riffs, doubling the guitar. It almost sounds like a guitar because he played it through a Marshall distorting, but it takes me there immediately. So the OC2 is one of my favorite rock pedals, although it's not drive and it's not super cool on its own, and I love it for other stuff like funk stuff and playing mute notes and etc. But for this is really cool. And this DS Custom Audio Electronics XPC is really great Octave Fuzz. It has a stock version and a modified version. Let's hear it. So we are on the stock version. Let's change for the modded version. I don't hear a difference, but I'm sure there's a difference. So I would love if you comment if you hear a difference, or if somebody from DS Custom Audio Electronics can comment on the comments and enlighten us all. It's really cool. I haven't figured out what the swell option does. Let's try to figure it out. I think it compresses it a lot and makes it kneel. But again, if somebody can help me on that. For the Octave Fuzz, you have a million of options and they are all very different. I own a lot of Octave Fuzz. I really love the Jupiter Effects Silver Machine. It's in my studio pedal board. You have the MXR or Dunlop, I never know the brand, but you have the Jimi Hendrix series. There's links in the descriptions for those pedals. It's also cool options for Octave Fuzz, but there's a million Octave Fuzz out there. Really, really, really great. And let's move to the last pedal. I picked up Fernweh. It's a digital delay by Jupiter Effects, and I love whatever Jupiter Effects does. So for example, a pedal that I could easily have in place of the XPC would be the Silver Machine by Jupiter Effects. It's a really cool Octave Fuzz too. Let's hear the Fernweh. The Fernweh has an advantage of having an option of 2 settings for delays. So I can set here, I have the middle knob, this big knob controlling the tempo. When there's 2 lights, this is the knob controlling the tempo. Then this side is controlling the mix knob and the feedback. So I as you know, if you have been following the show, I like a slapback and a 1 repeat, and this is it. 1 repeat and a slapback. Basically the same, but we can add a second side that adds another delay, because it's two delay machines in the same pedal. So this is a completely independent channel that is on all the time. So I can add if I want more space. For now, I'm using it like 2 presets, and I will show you in a minute. So this I will use while demonstrating all the pedals, because I like, for example, with when I'm using the Octave Fuzz, I like to have either a slapback or a 1 repeat. What have I created? The middle pedal on the Fernweh immediately makes it go into self-oscillating. Man, so cool. And I'm using it at very limited, because if I use the second delay, it gets even better. Alternatives to the Fernweh, you can buy it in Jupiter Effects website, the Fernweh, but there are a lot of alternatives. One of the biggest being the TC Electronics Flashback. It's a very simple pedal, but very, very complete. It has a lot of options. The Line 6 DL4 is also great. I love the Line 6 M5. I recommend it dearly, because you can store 24 presets, so you have the delays, but you have all the other effects available, and there's a lot of great effects there. I use it all on all my boards. I have an M series Line 6 for something, or either the M9 or the M5 or the M13. Boss the M2 is really great. MXR carbon copy is really great, but you don't have the advantage of having 2 presets on the same pedal. So you would need probably 2 pedals to boss the M1. Well, the M2 was a craft, or 2 carbon copies. And if you're thinking about getting 2, I would suggest getting 2 different pedals, because that way you enhance all the possibilities and you have 2 different tones, not 2 of the same. Also great alternative to that, the Straumann Brigadier, which is a kind of bucket brigade analog dark delay, or the El Capistan, which is kind of remake of a tape delay. You have also the Boss RE20, cool pedal, and with tap tempo you can set presets. And for all of that, of course, there's links in the description, affiliate links, so if you buy from there, you know it. I get a small commission from Amazon and you help me. The Rattler, I've reviewed it here in the show, and it's really great. This pedal was made for me by Jam Pedals. It has my name on it. I'm really proud of having it. It's one of their custom shop editions, but it's exactly the same, only the looks are different. So it's a regular Rattler. It's one of my favorite distortion pedals out there. Not just for distortion, but for distortion, it's, man, freaking killer. So for the intro song, I used it on bass, and it's amazing. has a really great compression. It has a lot of volume. It has a rock and roll tone. And this is critical to me. I love a pedal that can react to my guitar volume, because that means I have a lot of options with that pedal. So I was playing kind of a Black Crowes inspired harmony, because playing Bob Dylan's chords. Little out of tune. And I didn't have a tuner here because I'm relying on the clipping tuner. I'm using the TC Electronic Unitune, which is the new one, and it tunes really cool. So I don't need to have a tuner pedal. I just don't like the looks of it in the guitar, but I like it for tuning. So here, what happens when I hit it hard and when I play gentle. So no volume control, I'm just hitting the guitar hard or softer, and it drives and cleans almost to beautiful point. I'm loving it. This Rattler is just incredible. And then when you hit it full volume, with octave, man, freaking unbelievable. And the Fernweh is giving it a really cool atmosphere, because I'm having the slap back, and it gives it like a little room. So I can play it because of copyrights, but you know the song I'm playing. Just trick YouTube. If I don't use a slapback, it's not half as fun. Hear it with the slapback. So this is the key for all those Rolling Stones, AC/DC kind of open chord tones with not a lot of drive. I would use the Rattler for something very deep, very heavy, like riff-oriented kind of Stone Temple Pilots or even Jack White-ish stuff, but a tighter thing. So for example, if I go drop D, it can almost be a metal thing, and the tone control is really efficient. Man, this pedal is just taking me to travel. And you hear how versatile can the Fernweh be, because I can use it as my memory man preset, which means lots of delays and space thing. The Rattler is based on the Rat, so of course the Rat pedal by Proco, it's also a really cool pedal. I think the Rattler nails it, as all Gem pedals do, because they build it incredibly. But you have the Rattler, you have the JHS Angry Charlie, which to me sounds kind of similar. It's also a great alternative to that, the full-tone GT500. It's not the same thing, but it's kind of that thick distortion, that really thick cool distortion. I really love it. And you could go for the full tone plimsoll. So there's links for all of that in the description, affiliate links, so if you buy from them, I get a small commission. Let's move on to the Effects Animalizer. It's kind of a big muff, but super way more versatile. It's made in Portugal, and this is serial number 7, which is really cool to have such a low serial number pedal. You can look at TX, I think it's TX Audio Effects or TX Effects online. They have, this is a real cool pedal because it has bass, middle, and treble EQ. It has a lot of clipping options. It has pre-gain, depth, which means how much of the bass you push into it. I'm using it as a big muff with mid-range because big muffs usually don't have mid-range, and I don't like that. I like the mid-range push. So it's kind of something going with the Rattler, but the Rattler seems very distorted. Wait until you hear the TX, the Animalizer. So hear the Rattler. TX. Man, it's crapping out. I love when it's crapping out, but it has a solution if you don't like the crap out, because it's too much bass going into the distortion part of the pedal. So this knob here, the depth, controls how much of that happens. I have it set on max, that's why it's happening. Compare it with a Rattler. Of course, I'm using the OC2, and this can really fart if we take the pre-gain. If we push up the pre-gain, it's a more normal distortion. The thing I also like on the OC2 is that the direct signal can boost, so we can use it as a boost. If I take off all the octave, it still is a boost, so hear it. rises a little bit, but of course, since it boosts so much octave, so you hear why I have the Animalizer and the Rattler. While they might seem like similar pedals, they are really not, because the Animalizer is that really thick fuzz like a big muff, and the Rattler is way tighter. The Animalizer can be also less fuzzy. This is why I think the Animalizer is really cool, because it can be a distortion, can be a rat kind of pedal, but I love it as a fuzz. I love it with a fuzz maxed out and killing all transients. Like this, probably something. Man, so great. Alternatives for the Animalizer is, of course, the original, the Big Muff, but I would recommend I think it's the Up Amp Big Muff, which is the orange one. It's the one that sounds the best to me and the closest to the Animalizer. Probably that's why it's this color, orange. But I really love it. But there's a lot of Electro-Harmonix Big Muffs out there. It's just a matter of finding a flavor to you. I will add the links for all the Big Muffs in the description. It's affiliate links, so if you buy from there, I get a small commission. And then I have the new Walrus Audio Ages, which is an incredible overdrive, just an incredible overdrive. It's basically a lot of overdrives in one, because it has this mode thing here with 5 different modes that really can make you go for different tones, different kind of feel in overdrive. So this Model 1 is a low gain, symmetric silicone soft clipping. It's compressed and smooth. Then the second one is a low gain mode, if we move it here, also low gain mode with symmetric LED soft clipping, so it's kind of pushed a little more sparkle. Then the third one is high gain, so it can deliver higher gain. It's symmetric silicone soft clipping. It's tighter and more overdrive. Then the fourth mode is high gain 2, but symmetric with LED soft clipping, so it's saturated, punchy and big. And then you have the high gain mode, symmetric silicone hard clipping, heavy compression, thick and chewy is what they say. Let's hear it with the same amount of overdrive. But I tell you immediately, my favorite feature about this pedal, well, my 2 favorite features, is that it has bass and treble, which I love in an overdrive pedal. So you can control bass and treble independently, and you have a dry knob, so you can blend in your dry signal which makes it be punchy all the time. Let's hear it. What's the point of having the edges here? Well, the edges could be in any pedal board because it can do so much, but I'm using it here as my quieter overdrive, so my light overdrive that can handle and can smooth out all the other pedals, or it can be just my light overdrive, my Rolling Stone-esque, or my basic almost clean. But let's hear the different mods. And to hear the different modes, we need to have it a little more distorted. This is mode 1, mode 2. Mode 3. And immediately it changes the mid-range. It starts to be honkier in the mode 3, right? This is sparklier, the other one is mid-rangey. Mode 5. So if you go straight ahead from mode 5 to mode 1, you will hear a huge difference. My favorite modes for this guitar is 1 and 2, probably 2, because 2 is brighter and it cuts better through the mix. And I can take a little bass, bring it a little treble. You're probably thinking, well, this is not that different from the Rattler. Why have 2? Listen to the Rattler. Right? It's still way punchier, way less compressed, way smaller. So it's kind of a different flavor of the same thing. If you were watching a show, or if you were watching me playing without looking at the pedals, you probably wouldn't hear the difference from the Rattler or the edges, but you would hear a difference in tone, but you would not immediately recognize that, like, yeah, he's using the edges now, or he's using the Rattler, because it's kind of different flavors. It's a tool. Don't forget, a pedal, it's a tool to get you somewhere. So I like to have it set this way where I can stomp on a pedal and it gives me immediately a feeling that I know I want. So if I want something heavier, something kind of Alice in Chains or Soundgarden or Jack White, well, not Jack White, but a little tighter focused, or even Metallica, I would go for the Rattler. If I want something like Jack White, I would go for the XPC or Animalizer, depending on the feeling of Jack White I like. And if I want regular overdrive, I would go for the edges. The edges, let's hear what it does when you introduce your clean signal. It's just amazing. So here it is without the dry signal. I don't really know if you can hear it, but it's a huge feel difference. So I feel the pick hitting the strings way easier with it, and I'm sure it's great to cut through the mix. because I'm showing you the pedals without a mixed context, and this is kind of, yeah, they sound like this, but you put in some drums and some bass and it sounds like too muffled, not bright enough. It's what happens. But let's hear it with less gain, because it's how I usually use it. It almost seems clean, right? Because we've been playing with so many overdrive, so much distortion, but it's not clean. Look at how it sounds. It's compressing and it's taking out some of the bass, because I'm taking out some of the bass. We can put it back in since we're lowering the output. So it gives me just that little push. As for the Walrus audio Ages, there's not a lot of options out there that do the same thing, because this is 5 different overdrives in the same pedal. It's not like 5 drive differences. It's 5 different character drives. Ones that have more. Some have more distortion than others, but it's not just the gain that changes. It's the character, the mid-range, the feeling of the pedal. So it's a really, really very well-built pedal and really complete. But of course you have the Analog Man King of Tone, great overdrive for this solution. The Miesnieks by Guedes from Latvia, it's one of my favorite overdrives. You have the Zvex Box of Rock, really cool pedal, really, really cool pedal. You have J-Rocket Effects Melody, it's one of my favorite drives at the moment too. The Tube Screamer could also be a good solution here. And for all those pedals, I add links in the description. They are affiliate links, so you know it. If you buy from there, Amazon give me a small commission, and I thank you in advance. The way I really love to use it is, since it's so light, it's just a little increment. So if I'm playing the Rattler, for example, and I want to shave off just a little of that brightness and brittleness, I use the Ages after it, and it will compress it a little, it will focus it, give it more mid-range and a little more distortion. Even more noticeable with the XPC, the Octave Fuzz. So it brings it forward, it brings out that honkiness that I don't really like on itself, like hearing the guitar by itself, but in a mix, it's really cool. And then we have like the octave with the Ages. What's there not to like it? It's just cool. So my principle here is to set some steps of gain. I will probably not use it together unless something with the edges, because the edges is like really just softening the transients, compressing it a little more and giving it a little more gain. So it works well with any pedals. Let's test it with the Animalizer. So it shapes the mid-range too, makes it tighter, less bassier, which makes sense. Let's turn off the bass a little, cut a lot of bass and a little treble, and boost the gain. Let's hear what it does. So Animalizer by itself. With the XPC. Here it really, the Rattler. So you see it, it's really basic, really simple, but really effective. And hear the mid-range on every pedal, because it's really distinct. XPC. Rattler. Animalizer. And ages. So 4 completely different flavors for me to play with, and it's basically all I needed, all I would need. I would probably use a tremolo or something, but for the rock I'm thinking it's straight on overdrive, lots of flavors, different, going for the chorus, going for the verse. This would be really great. Well, that's it. I hope this has been helpful to you. I hope you have liked the episode. If you haven't done it yet, please subscribe the channel and share it with the world. Leave the thumbs up. It's really important for YouTube to suggest the video to other people. If you want to become a patron and support the channel in a continuous basis, please go to the link and follow the steps. It's super easy. You get access to free video lessons every week, backing tracks, and exclusive content, and early access to the episodes. You can also support the channel by contributing to the tip jar on PayPal, and I thank you in advance. If you are interested in having guitar lessons with me, you just send me an email or a direct message via Instagram or Facebook, and we'll deal with it from there. And also please visit my reverb.com store, where I have some of the gear I review here in the show, but I can't afford to keep. I'm also putting some affiliate links on the description, so you can buy some of the pedals here. Some are not available elsewhere but the builder's homepage. For all the gear that's available, I'm putting a link, an affiliate link, and if you buy from there, I get a small commission by Amazon, so you're helping me too. Hope you liked it. We'll see each other next week. Bye bye.